FiveTwenty YouTube and Twitter. It's Indie Christian Culture. I'm Eric Boston. Make sure you go to FiveTwentyCollective.com. That's where all the info is. Music posts, news, articles. You'll find our Wavemaker Award info happening on there as well. So make sure you hit up the website. And this stream is being brought to you by the 2022 Wavemaker Awards going down January 1st. We're partnering with Trackstars, and the award show is going to be streamed live on the Trackstars YouTube channel. So we got 10 categories that we are handing out awards for this year. It's going to be exciting. It's growing. If you want to see those finalists, you can go to, like I said, the website, FiveTwentyCollective.com now and see that list of finalists. So make sure you do that. But joining me on the stream is my guy, Christian hip-hop artist, West Coast represent what? JusJames, man. What's up?
Man, blessed to be here, man. Definitely.
Yeah, man. So you just dropped the new project, man. Humble Tape, right? So
Yeah.
let's get the kind of the little the elevator pitch on the Humble Tape, man, before we get into some specific details, man. So whenever you meet someone, you tell them you got this new tape out. What is it that you're telling them?
Man, I'm just telling them, man, that this is a project. I literally consider it like kind of like a compilation of songs that I have been working on probably within the last like 3 to 4 years. Just stuff that I wanted to put together in between time that I'm working on an album. And so just wanted to give some people some content, something that they can kind of feed off of until that album comes out. And so this project, to be honest, is really just like I said, it's a collection, but it's really just I went for the aim of not really having that aim, I guess, in a sense. It's really just, like I said, it's just songs that I put together that all have that same message, same direction, and just doing songs with some of my brothers and some people that I just truly love and respect as artists. And so just wanted to give that to the world.
Yeah, man. So with Humble Tape, it's not necessarily an album, right? It's not a studio project per se. You're going back to your roots, man, with the mixtape. What told you that it was the right time, man, to kind of get back to where you started at and get back to doing a mixtape? What was that driving force behind that?
Yeah, man. So about a couple years ago, I had hit kind of a wall, I guess, so to speak, when it came to um, doing this music and the ministry side of it as well. And I really seriously thought about just putting it down, just because I wasn't having fun doing it. And quoting my brother Mitch Durrell, uh, this what we do, it should be fun. It should be fun for us artists, that we can go out there and we can express ourselves uh, in the best way possible. Obviously in the Christian hip hop space, using it as a platform to glorify the Most High, but also in the process of it, having fun doing it. That's how it should be. And I'll be honest, I wasn't having fun. And so I seriously thought about putting it down. And I distinctively heard God tell me, like, no, like, I'm not done with you when it comes to this. And so it was like a kind of like a, I don't know, like a shock therapy in a sense, like for me to really kind of get back into it and apply pressure when it came to it. And so that with that process that came the Back in My Prayer Closet EP. And then from that point on, just started working on songs for this mixtape. I have a full-length album that I'm literally just, it's tucked away right now. But God has been telling me that, I need to kind of start getting back into like to the roots of things. You know, I my first projects I worked on were like mixtapes, and I'll be honest with you, that if I could be quite frank, like they were trash, like as far as quality wise and everything. But
Oh, come on,
uh
man. Come on.
no, they were, and I'll be very honest. But the message was like the message was there, and I was having fun doing it. Like it was just like it's probably some of my funnest like stuff that I was working on. And just because like I felt freedom doing it. Like it was there wasn't like I had to like, okay, I gotta have this certain type of direction for it, or I have to have this certain type of um element or aim or whatnot, or I'm talking about this particular thing. It was just me literally doing songs, maybe some remixes, things of the songs that I liked. I'll be honest, and so it was just a fun time, and so I really wanted to get back to that with this humble tape, and I truly feel like I tapped into that like with this because it was fun. It was fun doing it. It was fun doing songs. I mean, you'll hear songs like with Scribe Music, other Scribes on right now. I see. You'll see, I got him on on the mixtape. I got Prodigy the Prodigal, just brothers that I commune and fellowship with, and it was fun to do. It was just fun. So it was such a blessing to just be a part of it, man.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. A little delay there. Yeah, man. And speaking of Scribe, he is joining us now. Scribe, what's good, man? How are you feeling?
I am I'm good. I've been under the weather the last couple of days. I mean, I feel like everybody in my community that I'm around got hit with this nastiness. But I'm good. We good. Been working on this EP. My brother JusJames dropped. Life is good. Life is good.
Yeah, man. And we just talked about uh briefly, James getting back into his mixtape bag. One thing that you mentioned there, James, was that you got this album in the works. I'm not gonna push you on the album, man. I'm not gonna um you know try to get anything out of you there. However, I will say, man, like what's some differences between what you did with Humble Tape and like what you do on kind of a more traditional album? Like is there just a sound difference there, or how do you view that?
For me, man, I think it was really just more like I said before, just having fun with the songs. Obviously, kind of aiming, I guess, in a sense, with the whole humility behind aspect of it. But one thing is for certain is that like when I reached out to people as far as features and whatnot, like my aim was to just make sure that we made some great songs, great music. It wasn't about like a competition type thing, but sometimes, especially in the hip hop space, we can get into this whole like competitive like thing where like I got the best 16, or I got the best. It wasn't that for me. It was more like I just want to put out great music, and as well as showcase some of these other brothers that are super talented, and just I wanted to showcase them as well. And so that for me, that's what it was really about. I think that's what set apart for me the difference between this and an album. Like it was more of a showcase, more of just building with the community. And if anything, man, it could have been a compilation, to be honest. Like I could have just made it a compilation, but obviously I'm on every song, so I kind of had to make it put it out that way. But but I want that's what I think that's what was the difference for me, was to really just kind of make it more of a showcase for everybody, and just show the world, like, man, like Christian hip hop. There's, I mean, obviously you got the Lecrae's, the bigger names, Bizzles, but man, there are some super uber talented indie artists that really deserve to get their name out there, and really deserve to for people to check them out. And so that was kind of my aim when it came to this, and I believe that's what really separated this from the album that I have tucked away in my closet right now. So
Yeah, man. So a shout out to Jonathan Sullivan and Seven from Adam. They're watching on YouTube. Love for you guys. hanging out with us. So yeah, subscribe, man. Like James hits you up, says, "Hey, I want you to get on this mixtape, man." What was your thoughts, man? What made you want to hop onto this project in particular?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's easy. Like, James been one of them guys that what's it been now, bro? Like 2 years that we've been trying to build together, and just with in common places with the people that we got, TLS and whatnot. And so when he reached out, like for me, you're someone that we're building with on the lifestyle tip. Like we're trying to live, we're trying to really grow. It's easy. Like you just hit me up, bro. Let's get music done. That's the easy part. Us being vulnerable with each other and sharing our hearts like off tape. That's the difficult stuff. And so when we can do that, man, music is no question, because I know the heart behind the person that wants to collaborate. I know he's going to put me in the best light, and he's also going to give me the freedom to not only add to the track what he feels is needed, but also what I may feel needed. So working with James that's easy work.
Yeah, so let's hop into some of the songs too, man, and we'll start with the one that you're featured on, Scribe. So you're on Humble Part 2. It's the you two guys, and then it's Prodigy the Prodigal and Weez the Satellite Kid, man. That's like an all-star lineup, man. Like
It's a dangerous
how did
team
you
right there.
approach how did you approach that feature, man? Like are you going in there just trying to one up these other guys, or how's that look, and how do you feel about how that record turned out?
Whew. Well, honestly, like when someone hits me up, I think I'm doing a disservice if I feel in any way, shape, or form that I gotta hold back. Like whether I'm singing a hook, whether I'm adding a verse, and even creatively, because sometimes there like I try and walk a very fine line creatively where I don't want to do something um that I've done before, but at the same time honor the fact that they're hitting me up because of something they heard me do, or they at least were like, man, we've seen you do something of this style. Could you do something along those lines? So, but my approach with it is like, man, I'm gonna absolutely volley this portion so that these guys can knock it out the park. So that what James is doing and the energy he wants when it comes to mixing it, when it comes to refining it, it's easy work for him at that point, where he's not like trying to pull something more out of me, or like, okay, maybe I'm gonna have to add this. I want whatever I added to this track, that when he gets it, he's like, oh shoot, we almost there now. Like this stage of the song is over with. I don't want it to be a thing of like, okay, maybe I might have to do something else now, but fulfill the task, man.
Yeah, man. And James, same thing for you, man. Like, talk about that Humble Part 2. It's technically not the first track on the album, but it is the first actual song on the project. So how was your feelings about that, man? And give us a little bit of the history of just that particular record.
Yeah. So well, this is a part 2 to the original Humble that was on the Back in My Prayer Closet EP. And so I wanted to, like I said before, I wanted this to be more of a showcase for others. And when I approached Prodigy, because I reached out to Prodigy first, and I was like, hey man, I'm working on this like remix for this song, and I kind of shot him the original. I was like, hey, like, could you put something together? And when I said that, I didn't give him no like specifics. I just said, can you put something together? And he literally just masterpiece the beat, an instrumental to it, and a chorus, or excuse me, a verse. And so it was just like, whoa, okay, that was dope. And so then I reached out to Weez next, and I knew Weez would kill it. Like, and Weez the Satellite Kid is definitely one of the most dopest like artists like that I know.
Dude, you gotta stop feeding that ego, man.
I'm telling you, like, he gonna hear you, bro.
That is true. That is true, man. I'm gonna hear it in the chat. I'm gonna hear it in the chat. I know. But you know what? But he is, man. And so I wanted to give him his flowers. And so, so I reached out to him, and then last person I hit up was Scribe. And honestly, every artist I reached out to on this song, I didn't give them any direction. I said, just here, this is what it's about, and I want to see. I just want whatever God gives you, put that together. And like, I didn't say like, hey, it has to be like this. I didn't give him that. I just told him literally like, allow this Holy Spirit to really just lead you and give you whatever he gives you. And that's how the song really came out. And so it was. I'll be honest, like I really feel like it was just God's imprint, like a just a dope masterpiece to put together, and just really, like when Scribe shot me the his part, man, I was like blown away. I was like, that don't even sound like him. Like I was like, who is that? That don't even sound like him. And so it was beautiful, man. It was just a beautiful thing. And so it got Humble Part 2. And so it was a blessed track to be a part of, man, for real.
Yeah, man. And it's a fantastic record to really kick off this mixtape, man. We're obviously going to talk about a few of the other records as well, but if you where does it rank for you as far as records on this project?
I thought, man, it's probably up there as one of the best ones in my opinion. I mean, I think it's a staple for this mixtape because I mean, the whole project being the Humble Tape, this was kind of the staple for the tape. That's why I put it in the front, because from this track, everything else would kind of flow the way it does. And so I think for me, it's probably up there, number one for me, be honest.
Yeah, Scribe, your thoughts on that, man? Like, how do you feel this record kind of set the tone, and where
Heavy.
does it? Yeah, where does it kind of rank for you?
I mean, I'm biased,
right?
I figure. I think it achieved everything it was supposed to as a title track. You know what I mean? Like, there is nothing worse than doing a project, whether it's an EP, a mixtape, or an album, and the title track is the weakest one, or or on the other side is not the strongest song, because it's like, you're writing a paper, man. That's your hypothesis. That's your thesis. That, like, if your thesis isn't strong, then doesn't matter what the conclusion was. Like, you didn't set the energy for the rest of what was trying to be conveyed. And so for me, I think even so, when he reached out for that track, I was like, oh shoot, like, you really got to come with it, because like it's a huge honor, bro. Like, for starters, it's a huge honor to get on anybody's track. But James, man, like, you've been in the game, this industry, like you've seen the things out here, man. And so for you to be a family man, loves the Lord, and still be creating high art, like those are honorable things to do. And so when you come and you ask me to get on a title track, my thoughts are like, dang, like, let's go. And so I think it conveyed everything that it was supposed to, that like, this is the direction we're going. Like, it's humble with a smack in the face. Like, you did a song with, like, this is the funny part for me. You got Scribe, you got Wes, and you got Weez, and you got Prodi on a song called Humble. The two, like, three dudes that'll smack you in the mouth, like, music. Like,
it's keeping
like,
you humble, man.
It was right.
It's
like James
make
was
sure
like,
you stay.
James was like, I'm gonna bring y'all in the room. I need y'all to be humble. He's like, all right, man, we the most humble. We'll be the most humble. So it was fire to me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. And so James, you got you had multiple singles that were included in this tape, man. Just kind of give people a rundown, like what were the single tracks, and what was it about those records that you said, I'm gonna make sure that they kind of get their own little shine before I release this tape, man?
Yeah. I mean, Rings was probably the first one that I dropped single wise for that. With Mission, and I've known Mission for years, and so it's like I had to get one in with the Brody. I had to get one in with him. Exactly. And he's been doing it longer than me, and he's younger than me, so I don't know how that works, but but he's been in the game for a minute, and he's so wise when it comes to this game. And so I had to reach out to him for it, man. And so we got one in together, man. And then the other single that I have was called Headlines, with YP, aka Young Paul, and then Cloak the Scribe. And that song really was birthed from a place of this kind of came out of the whole George Floyd, all all the turmoil that caused, and that all that stuff that happened from that. That's where that song was kind of birthed from. And it was a vent track. That's what it really was, and the scary thing is I approached it the same way like I did with Scribe and everyone else. Like I just told them, I was like, hey, like, get on this track. This is what I'm talking about. But hey, like, let your art shine. And I didn't even, and I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of nervous because I didn't even say like, I was like, kind of vent on it or whatever. But I was kind of nervous because I didn't, that was a real emotional time for a lot of people, and so, I was kind of nervous because I'm like, man, they might like start cussing on the song. I don't know, like, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like,
you ain't wrong,
hey,
bro.
Hey,
you ain't wrong.
Hey, man, like I mean, come on now. If we could all be realistic, man, us sometimes, that happens, man. When we're highly emotional about something, especially that occurred, and so, even myself, I was kind of in that same headspace, and so I had to kind of really just allow God to really kind of just, lead the way. And so that song, came from that. And it was honestly, it's probably been one of the most successful songs that I've done. Like if I were to, consider that, streaming wise and whatnot. And so that song, was kind of set the stage. It was kind of, for me, it kind of set the stage for the second half of the mixtape, but it was something that I really wanted to include in it just because, just from that logistic standpoint, but also just for the sake of kind of giving it a rebirth, and so.
Yeah, man. And one of the songs you mentioned there was Rings, and Rings kind of stands out to me, one, because yes, it was a single, so we got familiar with it before the project dropped, right? But once you got to the mixtape, man, you actually have an insert called Eddie Sings Rings, man. And that, I mean, it's short, it's like 17 seconds long, but man, it's a pretty cool insert to be able to include on this project, man. Just kind of tell people what's going on with that insert real quick, man.
Yeah, that's my son. That's my son. He's 8 years old, and him and my 6-year-old daughter, Jaleesa, they're like my biggest fans when it comes to music. And that's a blessing to have, like, because I know sometimes a lot of us, as far as artists, like we do this, but like, sometimes we try to separate family with that and whatnot. And like, where family's not really involved in that. And, but one thing is for certain is my kids, they love my music. And so that was like that's like one of their favorite songs. And so that clip of my son singing, actually my wife had caught that clip. She recorded it on her phone.
Wow.
And so and then she sent it to me.
Yeah,
for real. And she caught that clip, and so she sent it to me, and I was like, you know what, I gotta put this on the project, man. My early mixtapes, if anybody wants to go back to them, all they're on my Bandcamp channel, but by the way, but they all have an insert. And at the time it was my daughter, my 17-year-old daughter now, but it was my daughter at the time when she was like really young. She had like little parts in there. And so with the whole mixtape idea, I was like, I want to kind of keep that tradition alive. And so that's kind of how that came about, to be honest, was just, my wife catching a moment with my son singing that song. And I was like, that's precious. I got to put that on there. I got to put it on there.
That's amazing, bro.
Yeah, man, for sure. And, you talked about, having like guys like YP on the project, right? And some other standout ones for me, like TC, and then obviously you got these guys, man, and this is kind of the school that you come from as well, right? Where it's lyricism, right? And it's kind of that classic, that golden era. I wouldn't say necessarily even the sound, because I think you do a great job of blending that kind of that boom bap feel and mixing it in with what today's music sounds like, right? And it doesn't feel dated, but I know that is important to you, man, and that's where you do come from, right? So, and that's what I always appreciate about your music, man, and to see so many guys on here um that are just spitters. I mean, you gotta love it, dude. I mean, I don't know if y'all caught it or not, but Mike LV was on Track Stars today, right? And they were talking about his album Bodega, and he was saying that they were listening to, and I don't listen to the mainstream people anymore, but yeah, he was saying he was listening to like Griselda and stuff, and they were like, we need more of this in CHH.
That's a fact.
Yeah, it's true.
And dude, like I'm want to sit there and scream, well, hey, it is here. Here's an example. That just dropped, and it's full of it. And but not only that, man, Scrap, I don't even know what to say about you, man. Like I don't want to like tell people you're not a lyricist, because that's not true at all. You're like just a crazy artist, period. So so not only do you have these guys that are bar heavy, but then you have guys like Scribe that bring these other elements to the project as well, and it's really well rounded out. And I mean, honestly, can pass as an album. Like, it feels like it's maybe like a mixtape 2.0 or something, right? It's a new level of stuff.
It was well curated. Like, it was well curated. That's a big thing, because like there's some guys, man, that they'll do a project and you can tell who was the big money feature because the song is like that dude's song, but the song ain't really that great. It's just that person's on there. You know what I mean? But I don't think, like, there's not a single track that feels that way. Like it's a like, I haven't even finished the project, but it's like you curated it so well with people that complement what you're trying to create, versus I'm gonna let you, like, even with you saying like, hey, I just let these guys have free reign, you still created like a space for them to fulfill what you wanted to be done. It didn't go a complete other direction and then you just threw a verse on so that you could say it was yours. You know what I mean? And that's super important, man, because there's so many guys that'll spend all this money on some big name feature versus getting people that like either mean something to them or in this at their level in the space where they still value it. You know what I mean? Because there's so many throwaways nowadays, throwaway tracks that you're like, all right, that was a cool feat, the fact that you got that feature, but the song ain't that good.
Yeah, man. And I was gonna say, like, I think part of it too, and another guy that I love his lyricism, man, is Intellect. And not only was he on the project, but he worked alongside you when it come to the production on this, man. Just talk about that and what he brought to the table. I know this isn't the first time y'all have worked together, and I feel like y'all are building something really special. Just hit on what his involvement in Humble Tape meant.
Man, he played a huge role in this, to be honest. Like, I've been building with David for a long time, man. And so aka Intellect, I've been building with him for a long time. And so he's always so like wise about the way he approaches things, and so and just so humble, I guess, in a sense. Like, he's very humble dude. And so we've been building for a couple years already, and so it was definitely just something, like, he reached out to me and was like, hey, like, is there anything that you need help with? And at the time, I'll be honest, like, I needed help trying to finish up these last couple songs for his mixtape. And so him playing that role and to helping kind of just do the mixing, the mastering, he played a big role in this project. And so that's why obviously you can't see credits on like Apple Music, Spotify, like that, but on my Bandcamp, I in the credit section, I have him listed as an executive producer because he did play his hand on this. And he really helped me kind of piece it together as far as like creatively and whatnot. And so the inserts and all that, a lot of that stuff was my idea, but all the other parts and elements, he kind of added his expertise in that. And so I really wanted to just kind of give him his flowers in a sense, and just really allow him to kind of be a part of this, because as you had shared, like, we are building something. Him and I are building something, uh which I don't know if we're necessarily ready to, well, we have announced in a sense on like some of the social media platforms, but we got a lot of things that are in the works that we're going to be doing. And the beauty of it is he's kind of known as a boom bap artist. For me, I love boom bap, but I don't want to be categorized. I don't want to be like what do you call it, like put into this box of just that's just what I am. And he allows me to be creative, and allows me to not, just not just do boom bap, but he allows me to bring these different elements in. Me being from the West Coast, man, it's like I gotta have that sound too. Like it can't just be strictly one sound for me. I gotta have that sound as well. That's a part of my identity. And so that plays a big part. And so his hand and his role in this was really important, because he really kind of shaped and pieced it together, and gave me the liberty and freedom to really work. And being a part of what we are a part of, which is Polished Arrow Music, is being a part of that imprint. Is he's, even though, like I said, he's kind of known as this, he still gives me the freedom and liberty to be creative and whatnot, and not be isolated in just this box. And so like I said, I'm truly grateful. I can't even like there's words that I can say, but it's like I can't really think of them right now. I'm just very grateful for his hand and his contribution to this project.
Yeah, man, for sure. And you talk about not wanting to just be in one particular box. I think one thing that has been amazing to see is you guys that have come together with the listening session, right? And both of you, James and Scribe, have been in TLS from the beginning, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, man, Scribe, I would love to ask you, man, just in the time that you guys have spent together in TLS, what have you seen from James, man, and what kind of just encouragement, or what gets you excited about what he's doing?
Yeah, man, his confidence is way up. Like I could see from when and you know how it is, like when you're first meeting a bunch of people, and especially in artist spaces, there's naturally you're dealing with comparison and whatever, and at the same time you're looking at dudes that are like, dang bro, like you really good, like I thought I was whatever. But I love seeing James' confidence grow as an artist, in even the sounds that he's trying to make. um it's just like really watching you, bro, like continue to come into your own. Like you're not one of these young cats. Like we're not one of these young cats out here. We're not one of these brand new guys who, people be giving us all the attention or anything of that nature, but you're still pursuing making high art. Like, and so many guys, man, who have maybe been around, we've been around for a minute and are really just like, we got our families, we're pursuing other things. The art seems to take a back seat even when we release it. And you can kind of hear that in the music. Like it doesn't sound like you had time. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to know, like, man, I didn't have much time, but it don't need to sound like that. And so I've loved watching you, bro, just like not only be confident with yourself as an artist, but how you see the Lord moving in this industry, and being unafraid to share that. Like nobody making projects called Humble anymore. Like nobody is making a track calling people to humility, a lifestyle of humility. Now it's like, man, I'm a boast in me. I'm this. I got da da da. You know what I'm saying? And you're calling people to humility. I'm like, that's a grown man. Like that's a grown man topic. That's grown folk business. And so I love that um you're not afraid to stand on your convictions as an artist. And my encouragement would just be that, continue being impactful in the spaces that God graces you, whether it's, you know, whether it's in TLS, whether it's in the CHH platform and outside, because like you have such a pastoral heart for people, man. Like you look like you could crush every one of us with the drop of your fist, but you just got a heart of gold. And you know what I mean? And like that, like those sorts of things are so necessary. We need that. We need people who have seen some things in this life to keep us grounded. And so keep pouring that into your music, man. Like keep making the art. Even when life gets busy, even when family gets busy, it's a diary. And like I'm sure you've had plenty of moments where you go and you pull up an old track and you like, dang, this really was for me. I thought it was for somebody else. It didn't hit everybody else, but dang, now I'm listening to a song I made 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it's reminding me of what God did, or it's reminding me to walk in this authority, or reminding me that, man, like chill out, humble yourself. So I just appreciate you so much, man, and your heart for people, and how you always want to see restoration and reconciliation. And that's so evident in your art and in the way you carry yourself. So that's my encouragement to you, man.
No, I appreciate that, man.
Oh, you're muted, I think.
Oh, yeah, my bad. My bad.
There you go. Awkward silence after that. I'm like, what did I say wrong?
I mean, Scribe, you rub me the wrong way sometimes, man. So no. Purpose is in the YouTube chat. Said, "Amen." That's definitely James. He's solid. And James, I want to just ask you kind of the same thing, man. You know, that's what Scribe's been seeing in TLS. What has TLS meant for you, man? And how did it impact this tape?
Yeah, TLS has been like, it's, man, huge for me, man. Especially where I was sharing prior, like where I was at, where I really seriously considered like just quitting, like, where it wasn't fun. Like TLS has made Christian hip hop fun for me, man. Like these guys are just like, and not just Mitch. I could speak about Mitch like all day, every day, because we know that's his thing. But man, like every artist in there, man, is just like I've been a part of groups, and I've been a part of like collectives and things like that in the past, but there's just something special about TLS, man, that is like I've never been a part of something that's just this, like, it's literally like church. I'll be honest, man. It's like literally just bringing people all from different elements of life, different artists, different, everyone's got their own flavor to bring to the community, in a sense. But we all like share that same, like, just aim, a same direction, but also like with it, like we can also come together, we can crack jokes on each other, we can we can minister to each other, we become vulnerable with each other. It literally is like church. It really is, man. And none of us are perfect, and that's the beauty of it, is like none of us are like, this year was, I would say, it was kind of a big year for TLS, just because like we had several artists in TLS that became Rapzilla freshmen. It was a big win this year, and with the songs and singles that we've been dropping as a group. But that's just like almost surface level stuff, I'll be honest. Like the group in entirety is really just like, it's therapy for a lot of us, man. It really is. Like, we get on there, we talk about marriage, like come on now, like marriage, like, yeah, man. Like we get on there, talk about things like that. We talk about like each other's kids. We talk about I'll be honest, a lot of times the stuff that we do share, like, it don't even have to do with like music. Like, we do use that platform as a ways to like share like music with each other, and like, hey, can you get feedback on this and whatnot? But which is that, that was where the group was birthed from, with Q Flow. But it's grown into something just way bigger than that, man. And it's a beautiful thing, man, because like we all can get on there, like, and we can all just share our hearts with one another, and it's a safe space for all of us. That's the it's hard to find spaces like that, especially in the Christian hip hop community. It's hard to find safe spaces, especially because it's like we're being a part of this community. It's if I could be very frank, it's very competitive. It's very competitive.
Yeah.
And it has it bears a lot of similarities of the hip hop scene in general, but but this group has given us all a safe space where we can all come in there, and if we let's say we drop a song in there and it's trash, like the group will say it's trash, but they're not going to just leave it there and be like, okay, like you suck, get the heck out of this group type of thing. No, it's like they're going to try to build us back up to like, okay, it's not that great, but let's get this to where it needs to be. And it's hard to find people that are willing to help you and do that, in this space. And so the listening session has been just huge. Like, I'll be honest, like I could have probably said that this project was a listening session project, because a lot of the people that are on the project were people I met through the group, to be honest, but we got some things in works when it comes to that, but it was instrumental, huge, and it's been a huge part of my growth, especially as just being a believer, be honest too, man, because like guys like Scribe, like Scribe is like, man, that dude's got a pastor's heart too. He says that about me, but he's got a pastor's heart too. And he has a heart to shepherd people and to really guide people, and even situations where it's like seem like, dang, like I don't know if this can be reconciled type of thing. He's like brought it back to a perspective of trying to bring it back together, and that's beauty too. Like, we've had people in the group that have had issues and whatnot, but it's always like he's one of the instrumental pieces that always brings it back. And just because he's just so wise too. And so it's been huge. It's been huge. And not only in my music, but it's been huge just in my Christian walk as a whole. And so I'm just like, I'm very grateful, very grateful. I mean, I'm probably one of the older guys in the group too. And so it's definitely different being in a space where like I'm the older guy and I'm dealing with like younger dudes, but just like, it's true what they say, like age ain't nothing but a number, man. And it's like we can really like it, I can learn things from Scribe that that I didn't know. I think I even hit him up about something about the Humble song and a question I had, and I was like, I didn't know what it was called or whatnot. And I asked him about it, and he kind of like pointed me in a good direction with it. But I can do that, because I've been in this space for a long time, but there's still some things I'm still learning, especially like, with social media and whatnot. I'm still learning a lot of things. And so the group is very helpful when it comes to that, and really helping us hone our craft, but also be creative in that.
Yeah, man. And I'm gonna pull it back up here. Seventh from Adam said in the chat, TLS is running the show now. The 2022 run has been crazy. It's probably just gonna get crazier though, right? I mean, I don't see y'all slow down. That's the cool thing for me is being able to be in that chat as well. And even though I'm not an artist, being able to watch the way that you guys move and the way that you guys talk through stuff, and of course this conversation doesn't go away, right? But we've heard it over these last few days a little bit more, where people have started again, CHH is dead and all. I'm like, nah, man, I see too many things here to believe that it's dead. Are there some stuff that should be fixed? Maybe, but I mean that's probably always going to be the case, and you can say that about any genre of music. But man, there's a lot of hope and a lot of excitement, and you can find a lot of it right here with the listening session as well. So, I mean, keep building, man. I mean, James, the one thing is you talk about being a little bit older, and but you got some experience, man. And you got opportunity to lead some of these younger dudes, man. So that's what is exciting for me, being on this side of stuff, and knowing that, hey, the stuff I do with FiveTwenty isn't necessarily in vain or pointless, because y'all are going to keep bringing that content that we can hopefully shine a little bit of a light on as well. So, man, shout out to everyone that's been watching, dude. Purpose, we see you in the chat. Miracle 65, 7 from Adam, Antoine, Banks. If y'all got any specific questions, man, start dropping them in the chat right now. I want to get some listener questions to throw at these guys. But while that's hopefully happening, man, you talked about Bandcamp a few times here, man, and I would think we would miss a real opportunity if we did not hit on that for just a second. So you're the mixtape, it came out on Bandcamp first before it hit all the streaming platforms. And you talked about you can get your past mixtapes on there as well, man. Just talk about how you use Bandcamp for your music, man, because it's the thing with all these is their tools, right? And they do different things. And I feel like there's some artists out here, especially in the CHH space, that's missing out on an opportunity to use a tool like Bandcamp to boost it and to help get a little further down that road that they're trying to walk down.
Yeah, no, Bandcamp has been big for me, man. Like, one thing I love about Bandcamp, it really puts the power back in the hand of the artist. And it allows the artist to really, especially for us who are indie artists too, like, I mean, I'm grateful for Apple Music. I'm grateful for Spotify and these, Tidal, all these other platforms, that put, that my music is on. But Bandcamp really gives us the ability to really give back to the people. And it also gives us a way that we can communicate with our fans and whatnot. And so, whereas like Apple Music, Spotify doesn't give us that ability to do, and so I'm very grateful for it, man. I mean, like I said, all my projects are on Bandcamp. Mixtapes, albums, EPs, they're all on Bandcamp. And so I'm very grateful for it. And so when I released it on Bandcamp first, I kind of took a page out of TC, the artist out there in Florida. I took a page out of his book because he had released his project, his album on Bandcamp first. And I had talking with him, and I think even talking with you too, Eric, is just the benefits that he got from doing that. He was able, I mean, just from a logistics standpoint, he was able to recoup finances back on Bandcamp that he could have never gotten through Spotify or Apple Music, and like I said, I'm very grateful for those platforms, but in all honesty, nobody buys music on Apple Music anymore. Nobody buys. I mean, and Spotify doesn't give you that opportunity to do that. It's simply a streaming platform. So, and us as indie artists, we don't get the. I mean, you got artists that can have like, thousands and thousands of streams, but really when it comes down to it, like the dollars and cent wise, they're not getting as much as you think that they're getting for that. And
man,
so
you're getting 0.0004
yeah,
on Spotify.
Yeah,
like when people are like, I stream your music, you're like, thank you. I appreciate you. Like, what do you say? Like, oh man.
So let me throw this at you, man, and see how you would respond, because I know how I've tried to respond. But I've been in these conversations with some of these guys out here in the Christian hip hop world and talking about Bandcamp and some of these other, options outside of Spotify and Apple Music. And one thing that I hear is, well, yeah, I guess, but I don't know that I've got the audience yet to move to Bandcamp.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my response to it, and I'm gonna throw it out. Like, how do you respond to someone that says that's the reason why they're not using it yet?
I think it's kind of a cop out in a sense, because I mean, to be honest, like I said, Apple Music and Spotify are powerful platforms. Don't get me wrong, but are they really directing people to like our like full on catalog? Are us as artists, like I said, we're not able to engage with people through these things, whereas Bandcamp gives us that ability to do that. And so they were doing a thing called Bandcamp Fridays where people were able to actually recoup like 100% of the the money that they were getting for their music. And so whereas these other platforms don't do that. So as far as like the engagement to the people, like I don't know, like I'll be honest with you, like for me, like I discovered a lot of artists through Bandcamp. Like Armand Wake Up is a dope artist out of Ohio. I discovered him through Bandcamp.
Wow.
Jay Gibbons at the time, dope artist from Las Vegas. I discovered
LV
him.
Envy?
Yeah,
LV Envy was on Bandcamp.
it was on Bandcamp. You couldn't get it on streaming platforms.
That was crazy.
And
That's
so
right.
that was the first time I heard that was through Bandcamp. And I mean, those are just a couple of artists, man. I mean, there's so many other people. Taylor Gray, another one, man. Like he was releasing like projects on Bandcamp that weren't even on streaming platforms. And so, it's like there's so many dope artists that I discovered just in the Christian hip hop space through Bandcamp. And to me, it could almost serve as a website, because I've even seen some people, they have the .coms that are attached to their Bandcamp channels. And so, and I will say this, man, I wish Bandcamp's interface for their app would be a little bit better, a little bit more user friendly. I agree with that. But I feel like it's not that bad, and it's actually it's pretty good. It even when I listen to it on Bandcamp, it kind of almost integrates with my music anyways in a sense. And so I mean another artist that recently put out his project on Bandcamp, Dayton. I got his mixtape before everyone, like most people just got it this weekend. I got his mixtape like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Because he put it out on Bandcamp. And so I got to hear it way before like everyone else did. And so but it's some people just rather wait and whatnot. But but the cool thing is too with him is that he gave people that purchased it on there like some exclusive stuff. And so it was, so when you hear the project on Apple Music, Spotify, I think it's like a 10 or 11 song, whatever it is. But on the Bandcamp side of it, there's like 14, 15 songs. And so, it's almost like giving the fan like a little bit more and saying thank you to those ones that are actually like loyal and willing to, spend a little bit to get that album. And so that was like, even for me, like that was kind of my aim. I even put out like a little bit of an exclusive on there, for people and that purchased it that wasn't on what you got on Spotify and Apple Music. And so that's another thing too. It gives you that engagement, and so I don't understand why people, are like, I'm good on Bandcamp. It's like Bandcamp is, if you know how to utilize it right and whatnot, and just like we share our Linktree links, or we share our Spotify links. If we were to share that stuff, man, people will go to those things too. Like if you have a good enough fan base, people will go to those platforms.
People will click on the link that you give them to click on.
Exactly.
Man, there is something to be said. Like platforms like Bandcamp are designed to reward the true lovers of music. Like, and I say this flat out, like it's the same thing as like you do merch, you go to a concert. Some people will be like, man, I don't want to make CDs, I don't want to make vinyls. I'm like, okay, well, what you're doing now, I understand the financial component, I do, but what you're doing is you're actually marginalizing the people that actually love music and want to ingest music for a long time and want to be real fans rather than just consumers. Because there's a big difference between a consumer and a fan, right? Like I could do one song on Spotify and it could just hit a crazy playlist run and go 1 million streams, and that's great. But that person's already done their part. There is no other way for me to transfer them into being a real fan. And the chances of them actually going now, oh, I'm gonna follow you on IG. Okay, now I'm gonna try and show up at your concerts. The chances of that are so slim. But when
you don't know who they are.
You have no idea who they are. You can't put a face to them. You don't know where they are. Like, sure, you can check the stats and like, oh, I got 40 fans in Indonesia. When are you going to Indonesia? Like, what are you gonna do for that fan base if you don't do anything if you're not trying to do anything special outside of it to make them feel exclusive. And that's just the problem, is like, because we don't do things like Bandcamp. And I was late to the game too. Because he didn't do things like Bandcamp, because people didn't. I was doing Noise Trade though back in the day. I was doing Noise Trade. Loved it. But when you're not doing things like Bandcamp, what you're saying is, now, man, I'm a hope that these consumers, I care more about statistics and numbers than I actually care about a community of people actually digesting my music for what it is. And I think you're really cheapening your art. I'm not saying like you don't love music if you're not on Bandcamp. I'm not saying that about the artist, but it's something to be said about the people you're feeding. There's junk food, and then there's fine cuisine, man. And I think there's like the way you played it, the way you palette it for people. Like, listen, my music is worth you buying it. It is absolutely worth you paying the $5-10 or whatever for this project. And then for those of you who can't pay for it or don't want to, I've got something for you. You just got to cast a wide net. But if we're not going to cast a wide net, especially as Christian artists, I'm like, come on, bro. They like, that soul's on that side too. Like, some souls want it for free. Some souls want to pay for it. Either way, you got to cast the net to catch everybody.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Seventh said in the chat that he loves Bandcamp, still buys CDs and merch on there. And that's another thing about it too. Like, I mean, honestly, if you can make this stuff available through your own website, if you've got that, that's the best option, right? But after that, I'm hard pressed to find a better option for the artist than Bandcamp. Man, they take care of you. Even when it's not Bandcamp Fridays, you still get about 80% of the sale as an artist, right? Ain't no one else getting that close to that.
If you're not touring, like, I can understand cats who are touring, who are doing a lot of shows a year. You know, if you're booking 100 shows, 50 to 100 shows a year, and you're bringing in some finances that way, maybe you got a little merch line that's doing some numbers. Great. You already have that second, third stream of income from your music. That's awesome. But for the cats that don't have that opportunity, nothing wrong with it. Like, you're not booking shows. All right, that's fine. Like, it's a small market, especially in CHH. It's a small market. I get that. But when you're not, but then you got to be willing to do other things that, even though they may feel inconvenience, even though the algorithm for Bandcamp is kind of annoying, even though it doesn't look as nice, it's not as streamlined as when I just throw it up on DistroKid and they do all the work to get it out to whoever. Sure. But you're never going to know what you could bring in. Like, how you find a beat nowadays, $300. You could make that on Bandcamp. You sell your album for $10. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could make that 30 people go shoulder tap 30 people. Hey, bro, love you, man. Appreciate what you've been doing. If you do, like, find 30 people, will you buy my album? But that's grind work. That's a different era of music.
Yeah, and don't get it wrong, man, because we're not saying that Spotify and Apple and these don't have a role. That's not what we're really saying. But if we're really being serious, and especially for Christian hip hop, man, where so many of the things that I feel like people knock and say these are some.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. No, I'm back. Sorry. Dude, I bet my kid's playing PlayStation. Golly.
I was like, I thought we were like doing like some kind of freeze like that.
No, but what I was saying though is that when it all comes back to finances, right? A lot of the big problems in the genre, dude, how are you gonna fix that? You got to generate more revenue, and we're not gonna do that just hoping that the streams increase.
No,
so
and that's the thing too. And I was gonna say too, that's the thing. Like, you got guys like Lecrae. Of course, Lecrae is like a millionaire. You got guys like that are on that camp. They're obviously making money. They're making a lot of their money on touring and stuff like that. But for us as indie artists, we got to go book our own shows. We got to go, a lot of us don't have like agents and stuff like that, or like your managers that are willing to do that work for us. We're doing it ourselves. And so the beauty of having like Bandcamp is that, it's you got, obviously you got to do everything yourself when it comes to that part of it, but it's not that difficult, to be quite honest, man. It really isn't. And like Seventh was sharing, is that you can put out other things, not just music. You could put out other things on there like merch. Let's say Scribe is like once he has like these shirts and whatnot he wants to put out, or hats, whatever. He can sell that on Bandcamp as well. And so it almost becomes like a marketplace just for us as the artists and in our entirety. It doesn't have to be strictly just music. Taylor Gray, him and Wes, I think it was Wes Pendleton, they put out an album together. Middle class. They put out a vinyl album for it, like first before the album came out, and the vinyl was like, it was probably like 30 something bucks or whatnot, but they sold out like really fast. Like when they did that, I think they literally sold out in like 48 hours. They were sold out. And
exclusivity, man.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
And honestly, look at what some of these guys like a Taylor Gray does with this, like what was it? The white Jordans, black socks that they put out, where it was up for like a month and then it was gone. And he was like, you gotta get it during this month.
Yep.
That creates that urgency, right? I've got to get it,
Yep.
I haven't looked at this. I just saw it a little bit ago, but I saw that Meek Mill, I think, was saying that his next thing is he's not even putting it out on streaming services. When you see artists like this doing this kind of stuff, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. And if you want to change the narrative of it, if you want to stop feeling like you're being ripped off when it comes to streams, and you want to put some power back into the artist's hands, the artist got to do it. The media platforms have to get behind the artist and help push that narrative, And like you guys said, CHH may be small, but that also means that we can connect with the people that are in it and maybe make a change for our space. So,
well, I mean, you think about why streaming platforms were designed is because one guy said, hey, what if I were the middleman, like between the artist and the consumer? Because there's this new generation of artists that don't want to do the work. So I could do the work for you, send it out. And if I send you back some statistics that I can't actually prove if they're real, then maybe they'll just keep doing it. Because like, if you really think about it, Spotify and all these numbers and things that we got going on, like I like to believe they're real, but I actually have no way of proving that they're legit. And one way you can know this is like, I can know that, like, Eric, you guys, you make your own playlist, right? You curate it, you put it on there, you have your listenership. But the amount of playlists that nobody knows who's behind them, or you get randomly hit with them, these fake playlists, but then your numbers are through the roof. It's like, huh. So maybe the numbers don't matter as much as I thought they did, because if it's this easy to like mess with it, then why am I so focused on numbers? Oh, it's this whole idea of like, how do you, like, I don't know if you've ever heard this analogy that Dave Chappelle did. He's like, how do they catch a baboon? Well, they put what he wants in the cage. Then he puts his hand in the cage, and all he's got to do to get free is to let it go. And I think some artists got to let the numbers go. Let the numbers go and free yourself to create again. Once you do that, then you're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to make shirts. I don't even know if they're going to sell very much, but I think it'd be real cool to put something on a shirt. And then you start seeing people wearing your shirts. And it's like, oh, that's cool. Because you don't even know what Humble just stands for. It stands for more than just the music you heard. Humble is this life. And it opens up this whole, and how did Tyler, the Creator, call it? He said it creates a world. You got artists that just want to create music, but Tyler's like, I created a world. This is my world. That's why I can do briefcases. You see the cars. I'm doing perfume. You see my clothing. You see my aesthetic. But so many artists are like, man, I just want to create this. And you're like, okay, well, all you get nowadays, music isn't this anymore. It is this and everything else. Some of the biggest artists right now, like look at Drake. People follow Drake, listen to Drake. not because they even think that the music's that great anymore. It's because of all the things that encapsulate who Drake is. And I think, like, you know, the more people that want to start doing that, trying to create a world with their art, I think it just widens the kingdom, man. I think it just it creates more longevity.
Yeah, for sure, man. And yeah, I don't know. I know I kind of took us down a whole nother trail there, but dude, it's a conversation that needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. And I get excited about it. I get worked out, and I get, you know, my energy going because I think it can legitimately work for a smaller genre like Christian hip hop if we all, you know, really do come together on it and we push it. You know, there's a lot of opportunity there. And I think the one thing that artists do, especially when you're starting out, you can't look at listeners as ATMs, right? You can't just look at it as a way to get the money. You got to look at them as investors and business partners that can come alongside you, and y'all can take the journey together and grow, right? And man, whenever people are invested like that, you see some amazing stuff happen, dude. Some amazing stuff. So, but yeah, so the humble tape, JusJames, it's out. It's out everywhere, including Bandcamp. So,
hard segue,
right? Yeah, man. So one song, James, that you feel, if they have not heard the project yet, people need to check out. What is it? To get them to listen to the rest of it.
Yeah, man. I mean, the singles by far, like, you know, I think those are a hook, line, and sinker in a sense. But there's other songs on the project too. I did a song with Wayne Classic, super dope, creative and producer out in Arizona. Like, just like, and highly underrated, man. I don't think a lot of people really know like about his like music and his production and whatnot, but super dope, man. He produced like two songs on this project. And just I got a song that with him, with a local guy out here named Maccabee, and he's a DJ friend of mine, man, out in the Bay, out in Oakland specifically. His name is DJ Discern, super dope. And he's an artist too, and he goes under the moniker Discern One, and so he puts out music himself as well. But man, he kind of just laid out some scratches and whatnot on that track. But that's a super dope track that I like to direct people, because I have a song focused. It was on the original. The original was on the Back of My Prayer Closet, and so this is kind of a remix to that. And so that's a song I think that could really just I think if people listen to it, man, like I said, Wayne Classic is just a monster in the production with it. And so that one, I got a song on there. It's actually one of the last tracks on the project, but it's a song that I did with this guy's name's Gabriel Anthony. He actually passed away about a year and a half ago. Just sad circumstances behind that. But we had this song we had been sitting on, and we were actually supposed to have another feature on it. I don't exactly remember who it was, but we had this song that we were just sitting on, and it never got finished because obviously he passed. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take what we already created, and I'm just gonna like put my verse on it, and we're just gonna put it out, man. And so with that, it was almost like a tribute to him too, because like just super solid brother, man, I built with on Instagram, and we just, beyond just the music, man, we would really just minister to one another, man. Like I would be out in the LA area and I'd hit him up, and we never got the chance to actually like connect on that, face to face, but just the building that we were able to build together on social media, man, it was just beautiful, man. And so I just really wanted to put a tribute out for him, man. And so that's another one. And like I said, man, there's so many songs on here, man. I really wanted to just approach this from an aspect of just giving people different elements of me. Because be honest, like I said, I don't want to put myself in a box when it comes to my creativity. And that's something that I really uncovered myself, because I always felt like, especially being out here in the West Coast, man, I gotta subscribe to this particular sound. And don't get me wrong, man, like West Coast sound is super dope, man. I mean, you got guys out here killing it, like Miles, Minnick, Mission, just super dope creatives, man, that are really just creating a sound out here that's really, it's, to be honest, it's kind of putting the spotlight back on the West Coast, because a lot of people, when it comes, especially in the Christian hip hop space, a lot of people don't think about the West Coast, man, especially Sacramento. And so those guys have done an excellent job in curating that and bringing that back. And so so I always wrestled with the idea of like, man, I gotta sound like these guys, man. But I remember advice I had gotten from a super dope creative man out here, man, Mark Stevens, man. He had told me, man, he was like, yeah, man, I love Mark, man. He's super dope, man. And he gave me this advice, and it was basically, be you. Like, don't try to be like everybody else, man. Like, you have your sound. Stick to that sound, man. That's who you are. That's your lane. You don't want to be another person's lane and you're like bumping into them and whatnot. Create your own lane. And so that was like some of the best advice I'd ever gotten. And it really rebirthed something in me to really express myself in a way that, like, man, like, I don't have to sound like this person. I don't gotta sound like that person. I don't have to sound like this sound, that sound. And so this mixtape, to be honest, man, was a beautiful masterpiece when it came to that, man. It's really giving people different elements of who I am as a person. Like, I don't, yeah, you'll get that. You'll get certain sounds and whatnot, but the whole project isn't that. It's really just me sharing my heart with people, and over dope beats, and with people that I truly, commune with and fellowship with, man, and build with. It's this right here is like a community project, man, for me, man. And so I'm just so, if, like I said, if I were to like bring somebody in with this, it would be those songs that I was talking about, but also just hitting people with different aspects of who I am as a person, man, and as a creative. Because like I said, for a long time, man, I was really kind of bound myself to this idea of like, well, I gotta be like this, I gotta be like that. And within probably the last like 3-4 years, man, I really found freedom in my artistry and really understanding like who I am as a person, but most importantly, who I am as a creative. Because, man, it's a beautiful thing, man, to be a creative, not only just a creative in general, but be a creative in this Christian hip hop space. And so, and a lot of people will say like, hey, like, it's kind of hard to just rap about this. But if you really think about it, man, it really isn't, man. Like, if you allow God to really just use you in a way, man, and allow that to be, your centerpiece as far as, far as Christ is concerned, like, the sky is the limit, man. It really is, man. So yeah, man. So that's definitely like, if I were to say anything about or draw, try to draw people into that, that's what I would tell them, man, because it's just really who I am as a person, and bringing those different elements and whatnot to the table.
That's so good,
yeah, man.
bro.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Shout out to the new people that's joined us, the Elevate One. Who else we got? We got Ronaldo.
That's
Rodriguez
my
Jr.
pastor too. That's my
Yeah,
pastor.
man. And
Oh,
Uncle
that's fire.
Joe, Uncle Joe Untitled, hanging out in there as well, man. All right, so James, man,
Uncle Joe.
this is where you get to throw your ask out there, right, man? Like, what do you need people to do to keep supporting? What's the next part of this whole humble tape, man? And where do people follow you?
Yeah, man. So really, man, what I would hope for people to get out of this really is just, you get, like I said, you get me, but what I would ask is that, man, like, support what we do, man. And not only just myself, but support all these other artists too, man. Scribe Music, Prodigy the Prodigal, Weeze, countless names, TC, don't just, put, I don't want just the spotlight to be on me, man. I want it to be on other people as well, man. And understand that Christian hip hop, man, is not dead, man. It really isn't, man. People, it's so ignorant to say something like that. Because I think people literally just look at it as from a genre standpoint, but this is like bigger than just genre. If you think about it, our platforms are bigger than just that, and our audiences and our reach is bigger than that. Because if we really look at it from a standpoint of a spiritual standpoint, like we're like marginalizing like God's reach when it comes to this. If we're just saying we're just a genre, and so obviously, like I said, man, I would definitely direct people to the Bandcamp channel, JusJames 916. I think Bandcamp. You could just basically type that in Bandcamp. You could find the music on there. You could reach me on pretty much all social media platforms at JusJames 916. That's I'm easy to reach, man. I really am. And if people reach out to me, I'll definitely engage with them. I don't have some middleman or nothing like that. I ain't big time like that. So
you don't pretend sometimes when you get a crazy email. I ain't gonna cap with you. I pretend. Scribe management.
Yeah. There'll probably be some times like that, but
hey, and Scribe, man, big shout out to you, man. Like the people don't know, man, but this really came together the last minute, and you hopped on. I mean, me and James were talking for a little bit, but you hopped on here last minute, dude. We appreciate you for that, man, and all the support that you've shown and the way that you've just interacted with us here at FiveTwenty, man. It's been amazing. We love both of you guys, man. Where do people connect with you, sir, and help and support? And what do you got coming up?
Well, I don't want to take the moment from my man James. I'm easy to find on IG, Scribe Music, Scribe_music. We gonna have to do another call because this my man's opportunity right now. So y'all, what y'all could do is go and buy the project on Bandcamp. Go buy Humble Mixtape. Go get it right now on Bandcamp. Don't sit on here this long and then don't go listen to it go and get it on Bandcamp. Go into streaming. Go follow my man on IG. He is a mighty man of God, loves his family well, loves people well, and he loves his art form and does it well. So I appreciate you having me on, man. It's an honor to be able to just kick it with you guys and just hear your hearts for what you created and just also for the industry, man. So thank you for real.
Yeah, man. Hey, and for real, like you hit me up, message me, we'll get you on here and we'll be able to talk about some of your stuff for real. And guys, if you cannot for some reason find it, guess what? Go to FiveTwentyCollective.com. We've got info on the Humble Tape on there with links right to it on Bandcamp. So make sure that you do that. Fellas, love both of y'all. Appreciate you hanging out with us here tonight, man. Shout out to everyone that hung out and watching the stream. And one last thing before we get out of here, man, make sure y'all tune in Monday night. We're going to be back on here, and we've got D Black. He's going to be coming on talking about his new project, The Gospel According To. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be exciting. But yeah, between now and then, go to FiveTwentyCollective.com. Get everything indie Christian culture there. And let's go.